Prepare yourself for invasion. This is Indie Invasion.
What's up, guys?
Hello. Sorry we're late. We were talking about important things. The skin care of our dogs. Very important things, not hobby related, yet still very, very important.
Well,
Welcome.
we were kind of talking hobby stuff. We just somehow got on a tangent like we usually do.
Well, Betty came walking in the room with scratches and itchy skin and stuff. What's up there, Anthony? Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday. My youngest has come to hate Thursdays because he hates it when I'm not upstairs when he goes to bed. So at night he goes, "Oh, you have a show tonight, don't you?" Yes, dude. I'm like almost literally his bedroom is.
Can he hear you upstairs then?
If he's not asleep, yes.
Oh.
But you know, he should have been asleep for an hour or so, but sometimes he just lays up there and waits for me to come back upstairs. Like, are you done? Yes. Aren't you supposed to be asleep? Oh, so you know.
And then he goes to sleep.
Yeah. If you got kids, you know. If you don't got kids, well, you don't, and that's okay too. So anyway, what you been working on, buddy?
Well, my primer's finally dry on my clowns for, Cyberpunk Red.
Oh, good. Tony will be glad to hear that because he gave the proper advice for you to not paint them. And FYI, just in case anyone is wondering, I can hear my child upstairs. So no, he is not asleep.
I mean, I finished the red on the one guy with the balloons, but I decided I'll let them finish.
Okay, so I totally know it's not finished, and the camera doesn't know justice. But right now, he just looks like Pennywise.
I think that's probably what I'm going to do with him.
Yeah, right now he just looks like Pennywise. So, I've been obviously still working on BattleTech stuff because that's what I can play. Had a great Alpha Strike game this past weekend with 3 of my kids. It was a great game. We had a lot of fun. One of the things that I did notice is I do like Alpha Strike. It's fun and it's real fast and all those things that people have said that are positive about it. But it loses so much of the granularity of the classic game is lost that the distinction really between mechs of, say, comparable tonnage just doesn't feel like it's there. No, it feels like if you're running a 20-ton mech, you're pretty much running a 20-ton mech. It really doesn't matter what it is. Whereas in classic BattleTech, it can be all the difference in the world. I mean, there's a little bit of it in there. You know, there's some movement differences and some jump capability. There's some stuff in there that does it. But the reduction of the granularity is it's like going from the sun to a globe on your desk size, comparison wise in what's holy moly. Hold on. Dog knocking something. That's my blind dog knocking something.
Poor Toby. He just walked into something, huh? Well, my camera went back in focus, so.
Oh, that's good.
Poor Toby.
Well, fortunately, it wasn't near him. He got stuck under the table.
Oh.
And knocked over the little folding tables with another table. So none of it was near him. None of it hurt him. So he's good. He's just 500 years old. So anyway, so that's what I've been working on. I'm super excited to start our campaign, our BattleTech campaign. We set up all the preliminary stuff this past week for expenses for the mercenary company, the world he's going to be invading, hex map campaign thing going on, shrinking my battle mechs down to 14 millimeter
Those are cool. Here, let me see.
Have little. I don't know if it'll.
Can we make those bigger?
Let's see.
Kind of. Yeah. Yeah. There we go.
Yeah.
And we were talking about those look like board game minis, right?
Yep. And that's that's all I'm doing on the paint job for them. For what we're doing is I'm just gonna just gonna do that. So hey, what's happening there, Clem Cadiddlehopper, Mr. Todd?
I was wondering if he was going to come on since we were talking about what we're going to talk about.
Yeah, I know what he's going to try to do. He's going to try, since what we're talking about, he's going to try to get me to buy a bamboo tonight.
Yeah, that's right.
It's not happening. Can't do it tonight. Just had to get new tires on my wife's Jeep. And some of you may not own Jeeps, but Eric does. And well, I guess nowadays it doesn't really matter what you own. You could own a go-kart and it's still expensive to get tires on it. So
yeah.
But yeah. So unfortunately, no bamboo printer for me. But shall we dive in? Since now,
yes, I think so.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it, man.
So what I thought we would talk about tonight is, you get a 3D printer and there really isn't much information out there of where do you start, right? I know there's some people know where to start, but I thought we'd go over maybe some of the places that we can find the files that you can download. There's many places like, I know you use a couple different places. Those are your go-to regulars.
Right.
But I wanted to bring up some of the other places too that pop into my head or that I've seen. And I was hoping Clem would be on here to give his 2 cents. So
yeah, because he's always printing all kind of crazy stuff. I'm like, I never saw that anywhere. Where did he find that? But yeah, so I kind of have 2 places that I regularly go, and I'm sure. So if anybody that's maybe Ron will be here tonight too.
Yeah, I hope Ron will be.
People that have been printing for a while, they know these places to go. Okay, that's just a reality because you stumble across them. A lot of the guys that are doing beginner videos for 3D printing they'll put the links up in the description of the video, just like we do for the stuff that we do of these places. So kind of one of my go-to, well, there's really more than one go-to. So one go-to is right here, is My Mini Factory. My Mini Factory is one of the ones that they do have some free stuff on there, but by and large, the stuff on here is going to be, it's going to be, you pay for it. Now, when I say you pay for it, sometimes that can be a bit of an over exaggeration to say that you pay for it, because some of the stuff on here, you're talking $2, $1.50, and
yeah, they're really not breaking the bank, right?
Right. And even so, right here, if you look at this one right here, this dragon, I'm gonna click on this guy here. So this is an 80 millimeter dragon. It's $12. Now, of course, it's going to cost you resin and stuff to print it in time, but you can print it as many times as you want. You can print it for your buddies, whatever. And I see Todd has already thrown up some of the places that we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
And there's a multitude of others. So he said Thingiverse. My Mini Factory is, and I'm going to talk a little bit about some of my favorite designers, sculptors, if you will. And through my Mini Factory in particular, they'll do Kickstarter type things. Mm-hmm. I can't remember for the life of me what they call them. Let me look here. I've gone full high tech. I got another screen over here. I'm so lost is really what I am. I was going to say I'm technologically advanced, but let's be honest, I'm mostly lost. Let's see. What are they? I don't know what they call them. They're just, they go live and they're like a little Kickstarter, but they also have tribes, which is basically like Todd has said here. It's like a Patreon where you join, you follow them for like $5 a month. Yeah. And you get some of the guys, it's just nuts because they sculpt so much. They digitally sculpt so much stuff. They're like, for $5 a month, you get 15 miniatures a month for free from me and a 40% discount on everything in my store. And you're like, dude, your stuff is $2. What do you mean it's a 40? Yeah. So, I mean, it's really ridiculous. It's borderline free. And then what did you have that you had scraped up? I don't want to monopolize time. So
what I say, I did mention the Patreon. I think that was one of the things. I actually was a member of a Patreon for a while, just for that chance of maybe I'll get a 3D printer and I can print these files eventually. But I know some of them too. It's like they have the different tiers, so you can get this or that, or you can get all of it. If you go top tier, you can get everything at the end of the month, type of thing. So those are really cool things to jump into. And what else did I say that I saw? Etsy. Etsy was a good one to look at. Because I know there's some on there that there's a lot of people that sell the miniatures because they kickstart them. They get the license so they can sell them for a year, 2 years, whatever it is. But there are some Etsy places that are the sculptors, the artists, and they just put the files up there. So you can buy just the files that are a couple bucks and you download them. And sometimes it might be a little bit more because maybe they do have a license or something for whatever file it is. So
the fact that I've heard that Etsy has some charges kind of buried in there.
Yeah, they do have a lot of like service charges, which is the same thing as like eBay and all those kind of places have.
And I think that's where my mini factory shines, because now, in this day and age that we live in, who really knows how honest this is? But on my mini factory over here, let me share this screen again. When you go into these, it says 92% goes to the creator right here. You see that underneath that green box? It says 92% goes to the creator. If that's really the case, that's great. It's.
There's one more though. Okay. So
do you hear another voice?
Number one newsstand. This is a VG Plus copy.
What are you listening to? I hear something. Did you hear something? I heard something. There's ghosts in the machine. Are you there? You have no sound. Am I frozen?
Hello? How about now? Now?
I got sound now. We were listening.
I started messing with stuff on my computer to check, and you got to hear some chit chat.
Yeah, I heard something there in the background. I was confused. I thought it was me. Okay, now you've confused. Look, I got my new screen up here. I already don't know what I'm doing, and you're confusing me. Stop that. Don't do that. Now I'm very confused. Anyway, what I was saying is if that 92% really does go to the creator, that's great. Right? I'm 100% behind that. And then one of the other places too is Thingiverse that Todd had mentioned.
That was the main one that I know. And the thing I like about Thingiverse is that there's a lot of free stuff on there.
Oh yeah. Lots of free stuff. And we're getting a couple good ones in here too that and I knew about both of these that I'm about to mention, but they kind of fall to the back of my brain, and I'm not really sure why, but Todd had mentioned Fat Dragon Games. If you're doing D&D stuff, if Ron were here, I know Ron's a fan of Fat Dragon Games. And Tim has said Hero Forge, which actually I just printed a Hero Forge model for a buddy of mine who bought an STL for their Fallout game. Mini Warma, yes, Colts 3D. I've just recently started searching around on there for BattleTech stuff, and I've found some stuff that I haven't found on Thingiverse. It's kind of like, it's this circuitous route to find some of this stuff.
Okay.
War Game Vault sells STLs. I actually knew that, Tim, but I completely forgot because I remember way back before I would have even been considering anything with STLs. I remember seeing that, thinking to myself, that doesn't do me any good, So there's just so many good places. I wish we could go back, and we have a really old video from like 4 years ago where we were talking about 3D printing. And I'd like to see what we were saying about it then, like how much it would infiltrate the hobby. And I think part of the infiltration of the 3D printing into the hobby is just the way that a lot of the companies, the big companies, not the little guys, not the Black Site Studios, not the Spectrum Games, not the small studios, but the big studios, the way they're treating their customer base is just driving people to print. The catchphrase on the internet now is, "We can't hear you." That's not the catchphrase on the internet. The catchphrase on the internet, well, it might be catchphrase on the internet, "We can't hear you." But the catchphrase on the internet now is, "Well, we don't care what the company's going to do because 3D printer goes brr." So, so we got Thingiverse, and that's Todd, you say Thingiverse was garbage for a long time and that they picked up their game. I think I'm glad that I don't have that frame of reference. I can remember when I first got my Ender 3, looking through Thingiverse and not generally finding a whole bunch of stuff. But the stuff guys can do when you go and you look, I want to throw a name out there. Actually, I want to give some props to I'm going to bring him. I'm going to share the screen too. Yeah, we still can't hear you. I mean, you look really nice and your hat's great, but we still can't hear you. Yeah, I didn't realize that was junk. Here, let me do this. It was probably an easier way for me to do this, but I didn't do it because I didn't. There you go. There we go. That's not exactly what I was going for, but all right. So this guy, I got to give props to this guy. This is Matt Mason. Oh, hold on. I gotta fix that and share the right screen. See, this technology thing's just messing me up. All right, so there we go. Search results. Nope, that was the wrong one. Look at me. I can't hear Eric, and I'm all broken over here. Don't know what I'm doing. All right, give me a second. There we go. All right. That's what I wanted to share is Matt Mason. Now, obviously, I'm doing the BattleTech thing right now, but I mean, this dude has so much stuff for BattleTech. You see me just scrolling through all this stuff. Now, these are all about $2 a piece in general. So great price for anything for BattleTech. About $2. Vehicles, just you name it. He's got a lot of other stuff too, but tons of BattleTech stuff. But that's not the reason that I'm like giving him props. The reason I'm giving him props is because a lot of these mechs he has on Thingiverse, they might be slightly different poses or something, and they're free. So I just think that that's really cool that he donates so much out there.
Check.
Okay, there you are. What did you break?
I don't know what's going on. I opened a window to share, and my internet blew up.
Okay, stop it.
Because I was going to share one of my favorite Hero Forge.
That's what Bob Newhart said. Stop it. That was really dating myself. I probably shouldn't have done that.
It's like my computer couldn't handle more than one window.
Oh, I know what you were going to share. So I think that there's a lot of stuff out there. And I think for me, how many tabs does Eric have open? Okay, listen. Eric
that probably doesn't help.
See, he's freezing again because Eric has tabs open from our first show ever. That's how many tabs Eric has open. Like from 4 years ago, he still has tabs open because he's like, I might buy this. But I think I was fortunate when I got into 3D printing because guys like Todd and a few other people were already printing. So there it is, Rooster McCoy.
How could I not share Rooster? So
yeah,
one of the things I want to say about Hero Forge for you guys that don't know, it's great for D&D, but we created this as like an exclusive kind of miniature. I mean, we didn't mass produce it, but we had a character created, and I, being me, I wanted a figure of them. So
character
it's
created for what? Tell them for what?
Urban Manhunt. So yeah, Rooster was created for the first Coastal Con we use it for demos, right? For Urban Manhunt. And I ended up creating a mini. And this is one of the things I love about Hero Forge is you can go on here and custom make a mini that you want. You know, a lot of people use it for D&D, but This is a miniature. I mean, we've made what the tall tail guys
Right.
for Twisted. Ding ding, it's way over there. So we made a whole faction on here and just did the files, downloaded the files, and we were able to print them out. And it's like
Todd printed them, didn't he?
I
think Todd printed them.
Alan actually did.
Did Alan print them or did Todd?
Maybe it was one of those two, but
yeah.
I mean, it's kind of cool that, and I still have the files. I still have access to the files that I can go in and tweak them if I want, and change them up and stuff like that. So I love Hero Forge, and they're always doing updates. They print in color now. They must have a Bamboo.
Yeah, they must have a Bamboo printer, a big gigantic one that prints houses. It prints so fast. Mm-hmm. Like I said, I just printed a Hero Forge model. My son is running a Fallout campaign, and so when I got my printer, since I'm still practicing, I mean, probably after the 4 million battle mechs I've printed and everything else, I probably have enough practice now. But since I'm still practicing, refining how I want to do it, I was like, tell the guys if they want to go on Hero Forge and buy the STL, I'll print their dudes for them. So I just printed a ghoul, and I printed some jump packs for my buddy Seth. So just, playing, I'm not just printing Battletech. I'm primarily printing Battletech because, as I've said for like the past month, it's the game that I can get to the table. So there you go. That's the why for it. Here we go. Todd said, I have some Hero Forge and Eldritch Foundry are breathtaking. Eldritch Foundry, that's a new name to me. I'm not familiar with that one. I'll have to look them up.
That sounds familiar. Shoot, I was just going to show some more, but it won't let me log in, so I'm not going to fight with it.
We don't want to watch you freeze again. Hero Forge Light, he says. Okay. I think that's I don't know that it's necessarily the wave of the future, even still, for 3D printing. And the only reason that I say that is because some people just don't want to do it. I can remember over probably the past year and a half of me talking about getting a resin printer. It always came back to the same thing of, do I want another hobby? Because I know for a fact it was Todd that was the first one that said to me, if you get one, it's another hobby. So it could be. And that's the thing I think you got to keep in mind when you're getting a 3D printer, whether it's the FDM or resin, is that it becomes a whole nother hobby in just the machine itself, not the files and printing the minis and all that stuff, but it's the upkeep, right? The tweaking you got to do, and you got to learn the science, I guess, behind that. Well, here's the thing. I got really fortunate with mine. I wish that I could remember what YouTube channel that I found, because I only watched like 2 videos before I fired up my printer. And the dude that I first watched, I sat down and I had downloaded the slicer onto my computer, and I watched the video. And as he went through his settings, I changed all the settings in my slicer to match what he had in his, because I had seen the stuff he was printing, and he was printing like professional quality. So I didn't even write it down. I just had one screen up here and one screen up here, and I would pause it and just input all of the information. And since I did that, I haven't done anything to my printer except clean the build plate and put more resin in. I've literally done nothing else.
Let's see. It looks like I'm looking at our little chit-chat notes. It looks like, just to sum it up, what we got. Let's see. So we did talk about Kickstarters, right?
Yeah.
We talked about Etsy. We talked about places like Hero Forge that you can actually design it yourself. That's kind of a perk for there.
Yeah.
We talked about Patreon, and we talked about some of these other online places that like Thingiverse and the one that you popped up. And And then, of course, you go on YouTube, just watch videos, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's the way you learn nowadays. Shoot, that's how I learned how to change brakes on one of my cars.
Right. Listen, let me tell you, I don't know if you've ever taken the air vents out on a Jeep, but you got to watch a video. Okay, because you are not figuring out how they come out if you don't watch a video.
They make that stuff so you need a specialized tool.
A 7-level screwdriver. Todd, I did watch some Uncle Jesse on not settings, but a lot of other stuff. 3D Printing Pro, Anthony, that might have been who I copied on the. I actually just used the auto support because this dude that I watched, I mean, he went through every single setting in the slicer, like setting up what the parameters are for all of your supports and absolutely everything. Took forever to go through and just.
So that's the other thing. It's the time investment. If you don't think you're gonna want to put that time into it, of that fine tuning, it might not be for you, because you might get frustrated. And that's the thing. If you get frustrated, what kind of hobby is that? If you're yelling and screaming and, throwing pieces and
So here's the solution. Until you're ready to commit to 3D printing, find a friend that has one.
There you go. Ron,
buy him resin.
If he's watching later.
So yeah, I mean, YouTube has some great videos out there. FreeCAD to make stuff. I've thought about doing some 3D sculpting, starting really simple. I've got a YouTube video saved in my videos that is how to change poses on the STL files. Really easy. I haven't watched it yet, but it would be great to turn an arm on a battle mech, twist a leg, twist a torso, just real basic stuff to start with, just to liven it up a little bit. Not that you can't do that. It has all those little great tools in it where you can mirror them. So you flip them over and they're still different.
I mean, you don't want to put their heads on their butts?
No, not really. Oh, Todd, watch that one. Think he used Blender. Okay, I'll have to look at that.
Yeah, I don't know if Blender's the one, but I know there's a bunch out there that are free. They're not super, detailed with the little things that you can do, but it's probably enough to get you started, right?
Yeah. Terrence, that joke is very true because as a former boat owner, I can attest to that the best boat to have is your friends. There's no doubt about that. See, Anthony watched it too. Did one of the reposing, pretty easy looking. I'd be interested if either one of you have tried it and had any success with that. Because I think maybe this weekend, if I have some time, I'm supposed to take the kids to the beach. But I think this weekend, if I have some time, I might play around with that a little bit.
I remember taking some of the old the metal miniatures, and everybody was like this. Well, I want some variety, so I'd heat their arms up.
Oh,
so I can bend them and then put it like this or something, just to give them some kind of variety.
So he's got this warped arm now. You know. Oh, look at that! Todd. Are you sad? The best 2 days of a resin printer owner: the day he gets it and the day he sells it.
Ooh.
Man, I'm not selling mine. I love mine.
And I remember you were so hesitant about jumping into it because of all the stories you hear about the stink and the cleanup. And I mean, a lot of that is there where you have to be diligent about it. It's like an airbrush. If you don't clean the airbrush, it's going to quit working. So you have to, make sure you stay on it. But
you only have to clean it if it ever stops printing.
Now you're like off to the races, man.
Oh yeah, dude, I've printed so much stuff. It's ridiculous.
So it's like you could easily make your money back fairly quick with that.
Yeah. Well, my buddy Seth, when he comes over, so I think he's afraid to come over anymore because he'd be like, he knows I'm going to have like a handful of stuff. He's like, I just finished painting everything, dude. Oh, great. That's good. Because I filled this little box of goodies up for you. Here, take it home. Yes. Uh-oh. Jim, what's up, buddy? Wow. Interesting timing on this topic. Having to sell my resin printer. Turns out I'm allergic to the resin like I am with the super. Oh, no. Oh, man, I'm sorry to hear that. I know I watched your last live. Well, not your last live video where you were talking about having such a hard time with your allergies. I'm sorry to hear that, my friend. Very sorry to hear that.
Yeah, I remember the thing about the glue, but I didn't realize that the resin printer too. Because that may be a thing. How do you know you are until you try it? I guess.
Get your resin miniatures. Get your resin miniatures. Buy a few and lick them and see if you have a reaction to them before you buy your resin printer. Found out the hard way after some resin touched your skin. Ugh.
Oh, yeah, because a lot of people do wear the rubber gloves and the mask and stuff like that. But
and I don't have to wear a mask because I have such a huge, wide open space, and
you always have a fan going, probably too. Right?
I do. I always have a fan going, and I've got the little charcoal filter inside the housing. So honestly, I can't smell it at all. And I wear gloves. My wife works at the hospital, so I have a supply of gloves. But actually, I mostly use the rubber dishwashing gloves. That way, I just clean.
You look like Alice.
Yeah. Yes. Kiss my grits. Oh no. But yeah, I use those gloves instead, and then I'll just clean the palms with some rubbing alcohol since I'm using the water washable resin.
Oh, okay.
So I just clean the palms with some alcohol when they get a little bit sticky from all the resin. So anyway, gotta wear he says he was wearing gloves, tiny amount splattered, I guess. Man, that's a bummer.
Yeah. I guess go to a friend that has some and help them for a while.
Terrence was saying, can you try any other resins?
Yeah, there are a lot of other resins.
I don't know.
Maybe it was just that brand, Jim. I don't know.
Maybe, yeah.
Did you see Tim's comment up here? Boat?
Yes, boat, hole in the water, surrounded by wood into which you throw money. That is, yes, absolutely. This is why I no longer have a boat. Mm-hmm. I have kayaks. Because kayaks, we slide them in the water and we slide them out of the water, and it's all good to go, man. I traded the boat in for kayaks. Much easier, and everyone is happier.
Yeah.
Well, I'm happier anyway. I don't know if everybody else is happier, but I'm happier. So, Anthony says all the resins are going to be pretty similar. Bad reaction, likely all of them will affect you. Yeah, more than likely. I mean, it is.
Well, I mean, there's still the FDM printers that you can mess with, and
I mean, Todd is selling bamboos out of his basement, so. Even without extra sensitivity, that stuff is not good to get on your skin. Yeah. Loot Studios, they sell themselves. Okay. Well, that's what we wanted to talk about, and that's what we talked about. I'm an excited new 3D printer.
We thought this would be a good subject for, just everybody in general. I mean, if you guys are watching this later and, hopefully this helped you guys if you're new to 3D printing, right?
Yeah.
We tapped into the experts here in the chat.
Yeah. It was too bad Ron wasn't here too. Then we would have really had a plethora of experts there. I watched the Three Amigos the other night, so I felt the need to use the word plethora. Do you know what a plethora is? No, El Guapo.
El Guapo.
That's El Guapo. It's a great movie, man. Great movie. Anyway,
it's I think your turn.
Yeah, bring it on, sucker. Let's take them out. Guys, thanks for joining us tonight. Jim, Todd, it was good to have you both here. Haven't seen you guys in a while. Alder, if you watch this later, missed having you with us this morning. This morning for you. So glad you guys were here. Don't forget to join us every Thursday night where we will talk about something related to our gaming hobby every Thursday night for our shorts. Don't forget to follow, like, smash, subscribe, and share, because I keep hearing everybody else on YouTube say it helps the algorithm.
And giving that thumbs up too really helps.
All the thumbs and the smashing and the clicking and the stuff on the things with the technology. Do that. Spaz is here too. Hello, Spaz. Don't forget to check us out on all of the podcast platforms out there. We've got some of our old stuff. We've also got some audio stories out there. Facebook, YouTube, X, almost said it, X, Instagram, and Discord. Check us out on Discord. Tonio's been posting some really great
jobs. Some of that stuff should be in some contest. I'm telling you.
So has Marcus and Trinity, both in the Discord. They've been posting some Drowned Earth stuff. Antonio has been posting some Orphans from another game. So go check out the Discord, hop in there, share pictures, whatever. Alder's got the monthly hobby challenge going. I don't know that anybody posted anything in April except for Battle Mechs, so because that's me. Don't forget to check us out on Redbubble, where you can get some sweet merchandise such as hats, t-shirts, stickers. Since Spaz is here, you can also get mini skirts. I am sure you can find one. Shower curtains, comforters, clocks, and anything else that you might possibly need. But until next Thursday, my friends, as you're out there playing your games, printing your models, printing terrain, doing whatever it is that you do, don't forget to prepare yourself for the invasion. Okay.
Is it going?
Quit clicking it.